Hiya, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to another Summer Daily News Show. First and foremost, hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the sunshine. If you're in the UK, it is beautiful weather, absolutely beautiful. So really grateful for that. And as always, people, when we get behind this mic, all that we ask is that you subscribe, comment, and like. Got a few juicy topics to get into, one of which I'm not going to get too deep into because it's going to be one of the main talking discussion points on tonight's Monday Night Live show. That being said, I have to mention it. And it is, once again, it's about Jude Bellingham. I swear, for a 19-year-old, this guy does get a lot of press coverage from Liverpool. I'm going to read out a quote from Jurgen Klopp regarding Jude Bellingham in an interview or a snippet of an interview from goal.com. So here goes. He's not on the market. So that's the first problem with the player. Well, that's the only problem with that player. Again, I repeat, he's not on the market. So that's the first problem with the player. Well, that's the only problem with that player. I think that kind of puts to bed all of the discussion around Bellingham. Now, I know conspiracy theorists will say, well, you know, Klopp said stuff before, and I think that has kind of just put it into perspective and gone, it's not happening. Especially not this summer. January, maybe, could look at it. Next summer, again, I think is a risk because I think there's going to be loads of other teams in for him. I don't think Klopp says that for the sake of it. He didn't have to say that. If he was asked a question, he could have literally just said, what a great player. You never know what the future holds. Generic answers. He was very clear. And look, there are times Klopp tells the media a little fib here and there. On the whole, though, he's pretty truthful. It's just us as fans don't necessarily like the truths or want to accept it. Last summer, he spoke about the midfield. We didn't really want to accept it. It kind of is where it was, though. Spoke about the attack in the past. It is where it is. Spoke about defense in the past. Spoke about goalkeeping situations. Spoke about all of these things. The owners he's spoken about, we just sometimes don't want to accept it. And look, as much as I rate Bellingham, as much as I do think he would improve our midfield, I'd never thought this would be a start. I didn't think this would happen. Not because Liverpool are incompetent, not because Jude Bellingham's not good enough. It's a hard deal to manufacture, this one. Dortmund are very, very tough negotiators. They set a price and they do not budge from that price. Liverpool don't like to be held to ransom. Liverpool don't like spending over a certain amount for players, no matter how good they are. It was a deal that was so tricky to pull off. I doubt it's going to happen. And now that Klopp said this, I doubt it even more. But in the same interview, he goes on to explain a bit more. And again, I'm going to read out these quotes, guys. And again, don't shoot the messenger. As Gunnar Lee would say, don't shoot the messenger. But I'm going to read out the quotes. I don't think something will happen in midfield, but you never know. If somebody comes and says, I want to go, then nobody came to me yet. But if that happens, then we will have to talk. If the situation stays like it is, then tell me why, and in brackets, Liverpool would look to sign a midfielder. I don't understand. I do not understand. People told me about this discussion, but the last thing that would have crossed my mind is that we have to do this. I know all these things, that we don't score enough goals from midfield, this and that. But what do we want? This golden cow that is now producing everything, milk as well. Guys, I'm going to read the quote one more time for the people at the back of the room. And it goes as this. I don't think something will happen in midfield, but you never know. If somebody comes to comes to you and says, I want to go, then nobody came to me yet. But if that happens, then we will have to talk new. If the situation stays like it is, then tell me why Liverpool would look to sign a midfielder. I don't understand. I do not understand. People told me about this discussion, but the last thing that would have crossed my mind is that we have to do this. I know all of these things, that we don't score enough goals from midfield, this and that. But what do we want? This golden cow that is producing absolutely everything, milk as well. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't like the comment. I don't agree with the comment. But he's our manager and he said the comment. And this for me says a few things. And I said I'm not going to get deep into it because me, Matt, and Drift will chop this up tonight. 3 key things there. Nobody's come to him out of the midfielders and said they want to leave, apparently. Nothing will happen in midfield unless someone does that. And he's happy with his midfield options. Guys, I've been saying this for a while, and I've been called negative. I've been called, well, other words as well, which I won't repeat on here. I've been told I'm an FSG lover. I've been told that I don't respect Klopp. I've been told so many things. Why can't we take Klopp's words at face value? And I ask this because if Klopp came out in this interview and said, I want a new centre midfielder, everyone would be like, he wants a new centre midfielder. He's come out and said the opposite. Majority of us may not like it, but there has to be a point where we have to just get on with it and stop questioning the things around the club. Like, Klopp has a massive say what happens at Liverpool Football Club. And I'll keep on saying it. I am not FSG lovers. But if Liverpool Football Club do not sign a central midfielder or an attacker this summer, that is solely on Jurgen Klopp. I'm sorry. And I love Klopp. He's the best manager I believe Liverpool have had since the days, well, since Kenny, at least. But that, for me, does not negate the fact that we need a centre midfielder and we need an attacker. And if we don't get one, that is on Jurgen Klopp. It's not on the owners. There has to be blame distributed correctly. Come on now. But look, we will chop this up a bit later, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. Let's get through the other news. This man, Ben Davies, who unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which way you want to look at it, has not played a senior game for Liverpool Football Club. He was brought in 2021 off the back of an injury crisis in defence. At the time, some saw it as shrewd business, some saw it as negligent. It's clearly a player Klopp's never really wanted. He's never featured, never been close to featuring. And it looks as though he's going to be either leaving to go to Stoke or Blackburn. Now, he has been left out of the squad, or he's been deemed not needing to having to travel with the squad to Bangkok for the friendlies. So it looks as though he will be going. Didn't specify whether it would be a loan or a permanent deal. I suspect it'll be a permanent deal. I think he needs a permanent deal. I think he needs a bit of structure now. I think the club need to recoup some money from him. It's clearly not something that's going to work. It's clearly not something Klopp wants to do, is utilise Ben Davies. So for me, for all parties, I think it's best if he moves on and goes to a new club. If he does do that, I wish him nothing but the best. Again, I think it was a bad move for all parties. Well, not for him. For me, it would have been a dream for him to come to Liverpool Football Club and play for Liverpool Football Club. I feel a little bit sorry for him that he's probably been led down a road and he's not got anything from out of it and probably stunted his growth as a footballer, which isn't fair. But from a Liverpool perspective, he was probably never good enough to play for Liverpool. And I think Klopp's made that clear that he's not in his plan. So I think Ben Davies will move on. I think he should move on. Now on to another player. A player who not many people will know about, but Anderson Arroyo. The Colombian right back or left back has been at the club for a few years now. and has not featured. This has been down to work permit situations, very reminiscent of the Alan situation. Alan was a centre midfielder who went and played in Germany, for example, trying to get that work permit sorted. Klopp seemed to have been a big fan of him when Klopp first came to the club as well. However, never really seemed to get that work permit sorted out, and it seems as though the same is happening with Anderson Arroyo. However, Liverpool have given him a new deal, so he has signed a new contract. Terms haven't come out of the contract. I do think it's a couple of years extension. But he's also been sent on loan to Spanish side Alaves as well. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him, especially now we've brought Calvin Ramsey to the club and we've got Tsimikas. I don't know where he'd fit in. I don't know if this is a ploy from the club to send him out on loan, give him a new deal to protect his value. If he has a good season, then we can sell him, make some money. But it seems like it's a bit of a shame because he came to the club with a lot of promise, just hasn't been able to show it for one reason or another. But it would be nice for him to get some stability and some structure, to get some game time as well. I think he could do really well in Spain. I think he could thrive there. He's got good pace. He's good going forward as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And it'll be interesting to see what happens this time next year with Anderson Arroyo. Obviously, hopefully he doesn't get any injuries and anything like that hampers his season. But yeah, wish him all the best, and we'll see how it goes. People, that is it from me for the Daily News Show. As always, please do subscribe, comment, and like. We will be back later on this evening, UK time to be determined, for the Monday Night Live show, and we will be talking about Klopp's comments and the midfield situation. It's going to be a juicy one, people. But look, enjoy the rest of your day. Until we see you slightly later, stay safe, stay blessed. We are Kopish, and we're out, people. Take care.